Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the Uptown Experts podcast. I'm here today with Robert Jendrzejczak. Pretty good?
It's good. That's perfect,
As
man.
good as it's going to get?
As good as it gets, man. I love it. It's perfect. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course, Rob. First, thanks for coming because, I know we've been trying to do this for a minute.
We have, yeah.
And, we finally had a chance to sit down. And I'm excited because I want everyone to kind of learn a little bit about you, what you're doing as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I think it's innovative and it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's a different approach to real estate.
That's it.
And so this is all about you, man. I know you do the other side where you get to ask people questions.
Yeah.
But this is all about you.
That's it, man. I really appreciate the invite. I appreciate you having me, man. And yeah, I'm gonna be an open book and just share as much as I can, give as much insight to the podcast and to your viewers, and let's just have some fun, man.
All right. So let's dive in. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about, first, who you are, right? Let's start there.
That's a big question. I'm a human being.
First.
I'm a human being. I'm a believer in God. I'm a family man, and I'm an entrepreneur, man. Cold-blooded entrepreneur that's just looking to help as many people as I can, have as much of an impact on the communities that I serve and the people that I work with.
Those words, just even the way you said them, the way you delivered them, they're so meaningful. And, it's the approach that you take in your business, in your everyday, that, for me as a viewer, as I said, I see what you're doing on, Instagram and all the other platforms. And I can pick that up, as you're talking, as you're inspiring, and as you're just doing you. And it's genuine. And that's why, for me, I was like, I have to sit down with this guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
And, it's impressive on top of it all, right? It's impressive to see, kind of what you've done in your career thus far. And, I think it's inspiring. And so can you share a little bit about, what has inspired you to pursue the career in real estate?
Yeah, for sure. So my background is more on sort of the business consultant side, marketing operations. That's kind of where I got started as an entrepreneur, I would say, as a business consultant. Really, it all started at like a young age, in and around when I was 15. Me and my good friend, we were just up to no good on the block. And then I think it was, the internet just popped off at that time. I forget, it was MS-DOS, BBS, like you'd ring up and all this. But the internet was kind of at its early stages. And we just started building websites and doing that sort of stuff. So always kind of been engaged on the tech side. We built our first website. I was actually able to monetize that at an early age and make some ad revenue from like a music top music list website. So that was pretty cool. And then so from there, always have been in sort of the digital marketing kind of system space, technology. So consulted with a bunch of different businesses, corporations, and then I actually not too far from your head office here, I ended up working and consulting with Empire Communities. That was my first kind of segue into real estate, and really kind of was there at a pivotal time in their transformation in terms of kind of adopting new technologies, implementing CRM systems, and they had rebranded around that time as well. So really exciting times. But just that experience working on that level with one of the premier builders in Ontario and now in North America was just a great experience to kind of get my feet wet in real estate, and then I fell in love with it at that point.
Wow.
But coming from sort of an entrepreneurial background and going into that corporate environment, I always knew I have to go back to my roots of kind of doing my own thing and being an entrepreneur as much as I love that company and that opportunity. But so just was more into the marketing and the system side there, but wanted to kind of feel and touch that sales side too. So I could have that first full circle understanding overview and really understand that whole life cycle of, you know, what a person goes through when they're kind of looking to buy and you know, purchase real estate. So, yeah, man. So that's when I kind of, about eight years ago now, I launched my, the New Street brand, which was, a media company. It's funny, interesting, cause you've kind of amalgamated different brands and different, you know, disciplines under the Uptown brand. So yeah, we were kind of just, I had the media company, and then when I kind of got into real estate, I launched the real estate team, and so it was a media real estate team, and yeah, man, we're just having fun and you know, just doing our thing and growing from there.
So let's dive in, if we will.
Let's go.
To what does the everyday look like at New Street on the media side? What does that look like, and what has that success been?
Yeah, so ultimately what I've, where it's kind of taken me, so I had the media company, but I really went all in on integrating that into the real estate operations. So it's not really the priority is not for it to operate as an auxiliary media business anymore. It's more just, we have those disciplines. We have, you know, like, I've spent millions of dollars on ads. I've, you know, run a whole bunch of different campaigns. We've been building systems now for a long time. So now it's just, that is our value proposition and our kind of secret sauce that we kind of, you know, have for our team. And then as we scale the brokerage at EXP, this is what we're kind of building for our partners that want to grow with us and that sort of thing. So that's been the transition of the media arm. Is more just an integrated arm into kind of our existing operations. I just find that, yeah, when you have that, you know, you can go in and do this bit of marketing, but if the sales is not aligned, if, you know, the whole thing is not aligned, and there's different, you know, politics and different things, it gets interesting. So I like the idea of just being able to make sure that, you know, especially in this industry, and you know it because we were kind of chatting about it, it's, you know, when you're generating leads and you're generating the business, it's you know, there's a whole other side of it that needs to make sure that it's running and it makes sense to make the most of those opportunities. Yeah. So it's really just, we've really tried to integrate the marketing and sales as tightly as possible, and just, you know, try to operate in those disciplines in a best in class fashion, and then, you know, continue. You know, you're never going to get it there. It's like, it's continuous improvement, continuous adjustments continuously. But the passion to be able to kind of go down that route is kind of where my passion really lies.
The simple, I'm going to say, thought to even, or idea to even bring that together, that in itself sets you apart. Because I'm sure there's a ton of, you know, people out there that were doing what you were doing previously and consulting and have the knowledge, but never thought about, okay, how do I leverage that in another fashion in order to then benefit themselves ultimately, you know, from a profit perspective or additional income, right? That to me is what's really interesting, just seeing that learning that knowledge now leveraged through now real estate. Yeah. Right?
I think what it is, you know, I'm just so passionate about the real estate, you know, ecosystem, and I know you're also passionate about that with kind of how you built out your business, but, you know, it's there's so much opportunity within it. You know, like you have some of these arms where you're doing the mortgages, you're doing the private lending, you're doing the legal now. You know, there's so many investment opportunities. You know, we've integrated the marketing, we're growing the brokerage, we have our traditional team. So it's just so many different things you can do under the umbrella of real estate. And I was kind of thinking about this the other day because I was talking to somebody else about it and the opportunities. And it's like, this game basically gave somebody the opportunity now to lead a country. Yeah. And lead the world. Yeah. If you think about it, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's the power of real estate. You know what I mean?
If you really think about it.
So it's like, it's unlimited in terms of what you can do with the opportunity. And it's such a blessing to be licensed. It's such a blessing to operate in this industry. And I feel like I'm just excited to work with and partner with people that have that passion. I feel like, you know, the real estate industry, I think we lost like 20,000 or whatever it was. And it's, you know, it is what it is. But I think, you know, really, really working with people and collaborating and these kind of opportunities to chat with people that are really doing big things is just that's what really excites me.
I'm going to say every successful person has had their challenges, their struggles, if you will. Can you share with us, you know, a little bit about some challenges that you may have had?
Yeah, man, a lot of challenges. And I think one of the big things for me is like, if anybody's listening, like I just, you know, being able to learn from mistakes and helping people that are, you know, sort of getting started or kind of on their journey. But really big things for me is like, I really never engaged a coach in my life. I've literally just kind of been trucking along and making mistakes and learning. And it's a different type of, I guess, coaching and learning you get when you actually in the trenches learning from it. So
learning on the go.
Yeah, learning on the go. And, you know, I've had some mentors and I've had people that I've worked with, but yeah, ultimately like getting a coach that really, you know, has done what you want to do or has led people to do the things that you want to accomplish successfully. Like getting a coach, I think that's big, you know, as soon as feasibly possible. And sometimes it's like you don't think you have the capability of getting a coach, but like you just have to believe it and do it. And I think that's important. The other thing is, you know, aside from coaching, but just surrounding yourself with the right people. Again, you know, I for a good portion of my career, I was probably a solo rider. And in terms of just like, you know, doing different things and get, you know, because you're going into waters where maybe things haven't been done. So it's like, who do you tap into? But there's always somebody, you know, there's always, if it's not exactly at least like what, you know, you can always, so seeking those kind of people, getting around those people, you know, working with those people, like even, you know, however you can get in a room and be around them. I think that's really important. And that's one thing that, you know, I would say I shied away from for a while. Yeah, those are really, really the critical ones. The other thing I would say is just, you know, really kind of, just being strategic with how you grow the business at different stages, and really having a roadmap, you know, like I think it's good to have a roadmap for 6 to 12 months, but really understanding what the next few years look like and you know, making sure that you are kind of guiding the business in a way that's going to get you to kind of the longer term goals. Cause, you know, it's good to have like an annual goal and, you know, just be focused on that. But if you're really trying to grow something big, it's good to know that, hey, you know, this piece needs to happen for this to happen, and kind of having a little bit of a longer term perspective. Yeah.
So are you a big planner?
Big planner, I would say just having a longer term perspective. You can't plan everything out in terms of like, you know, you're not going to plan 5 years ahead and everything's going to line up, but just kind of approaching it, everything from a longer term perspective and really having that 5-10. Like when I look at real estate now, it's like I'm looking at it like maybe not exactly what I'm doing, but I want to be in this industry 20, 30 years from now, right? And I'm kind of thinking like that. And I know that, you know, there's going to be things that are not going to line up on this deal or this month or whatever, and things are going to go this way or that way. But, you know, when you look at it from a longer term perspective, I think it's just a lot more fruitful, and it just changes the way you do business.
There are, I'm going to say a lot or many young entrepreneurs, many young realtors, if you will, that are out there trying to find a way, right? Trying to find a way to, you know, do what they're doing, whether they're learning or, you know, they're experienced. Maybe they had some down years, right? And, you know, and they're trying to find a way to bounce back, you know, looking at guys like yourself, you know, that are doing okay. You know, I'm going to take us back. I love what you're doing, by the way, with the running. How did that start?
So I've been running for a bit. So I was just running before I started recording anything. So I was just running, but then, you know what it is actually? Like it's more for me, honestly, it was just efficient and practical. So I wanted to do some social media content, right? But the day's busy. You know what I mean? Like the day's busy. Like, you know, we're sitting here and in the middle of the business day.
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm not trying to cut up the business day. You know, for, like what's that slot in my my day where I could just bang out some content? And I found that little slot there once in a while where, you know, I was running and you're, you know, I guess like the endorphins and you're kind of in a different state when you're running. So I thought that was a good time. So it was just really just sneaking in some time to put out some social media content. And that was a good little slot for me because I've, you know, with the podcast and with some other social media content that I've been doing, I've tried to commit to it and it's actually really easy, right? It's actually really easy.
Yeah.
You know, you can time block, you know, a few hours in a month and bang out a bunch of content. So there's different strategic ways for people to do content. The podcast is amazing. You do the podcast, you get, you know, a good amount of content. So I've just tried to do the content for now, at least in a very efficient manner where it's almost natural and easy instead of being more forced. So with the podcast, with just kind of running in the morning,
the fact that it's genuine is what seems like that's what's coming through, right? Because you're just you doing you, right? Which I find weird that a lot of people are afraid to do, right?
Yeah.
Just let the guard down and you know, turn on the camera, right? Just like kind of like what we're doing today. Like,
That's
you know, just be unscripted, do your thing, right? But you know, you're doing it and you're having some success on the real estate side and the digital side. And you know, just going back to the question, you know, there's people out there that are maybe not doing so well, or not doing what they should be doing, or not doing what they want to be doing. So, you know, can you tell us a little bit about, you know, how do you go about it? What sets you apart? Like, you get where I'm going?
In terms specifically like the running or?
Well, just in terms of just your success and with the digital marketing, with real estate, what things have you done that you would say, you know, this has kind of helped change me, right? In terms of the marketing side of the business, or I think marketing, the social side of the business.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I would say that, you know, at the end of the day, there's I don't think there's anything specific in terms of doing it. It's really just having that passion, and I would say, I'm a little bit more on the, you know, analytical side, and I want to make sure that whatever we're doing, there's some metrics behind it that make sense. So, you know, really, but at the end of the day, you know, whether it's social media, whether, you know, you're running ads on this platform or that platform, or there's a specific marketing strategy, or there's a specific, you know, process that we're taking to, you know, convert opportunities, whatever it is, I think it's just, and it changes because things evolve and that sort of thing. But I would say just having that passion for those processes and for improvement in general, to kind of always be looking at how can we level up, how can we improve this, never being satisfied with the status quo. Like, I feel like there's just been a lot of things that I was doing 10 years ago that people are kind of doing now, and
they're just catching up.
I mean, you know, and you know, it's so I'm always kind of looking at it from that perspective of where are things going and how can we differentiate, and that's just like an ongoing thing. So there's definitely been some things that, you know, some wins and even some failures, right? In terms of, you know, because when you're, like you said, when you're testing, it's like you're gonna test different things. So it's just I just love being in that space where, you know, like you were saying, just testing different things and optimizing different things and always looking to improve. And right now, just really excited about the team and everything we're doing at the brokerage and on the training and development side, alongside with all the systems and marketing we've built. So always just trying to level up and you know, just keep growing.
Which is, you know, we're talking about growth, we're talking about development. We skipped over what the business side looks like. So why don't you give us an opportunity? I apologize. Give us an opportunity, or I'll give you the opportunity to tell us, what does that look like in terms of the business side of the brokerage? Yeah.
So, you know, right now we're really focused on, you know, supporting our traditional team at Shoreview Real Estate. So we're, you know, it's kind of background. So when I launched New Street, it was initially a real estate team. But a couple of years ago, I merged with my partner, Robert, who also had a team, Shoreview. So we merged Shoreview, powered by New Street. We just thought we can put some forces together and really, dominate different markets and that sort of thing. So we have the traditional team. We're really invested in the systems and the marketing and the training and development for the team and growing that traditional team. So that's one part of the business that I'm really focused in on and making sure that we're kind of growing and leading that in the right direction. The other part is the brokerage side at eXp Realty. So we obviously have our traditional team, but also I feel like there's so much efficiencies. When you're in the business of the team, there's just a lot of different things on the operations side, on the marketing side, on the staff side, on the administrative side that you have to invest in and manage. And like I said, we're always looking to improve those things. So, and then you have like another team that now has to go and do the same thing. They have to reinvent the wheel. And then you have the third team that has to go reinvent the wheel. And everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel. But a lot of times, because the team model, like it's an interesting business. Like the margins could be very low if you go, this way or that way. And, you're always looking to make sure that your marketing spend is efficient and everything is working in terms of your conversion rates and all that. So the whole concept is, instead of every team reinventing the wheel, we're building this powered by New Street ecosystem where now if there's a team that wants to tap into our system, tap into our existing training, tap into the efficiencies in the marketing, now we could partner at eXp, global brokerage, and have those efficiencies, bring down all your costs, improve a lot of different things. And just have a bigger impact, right? So like collaboration over competition, being able to work together versus, like traditionally it's always been competition and that sort of thing. So, exactly. So on the brokerage side, like I always wanted to open my own brokerage. That was kind of my trajectory that I was going. But when I kind of looked at the business model at eXp, like we just partnered with our partner Bartosz in Poland. So we got New Street out in Poland.
How did that happen?
That's just the beauty of the brokerage is, we have the ability to grow in 24 different countries, and we're collecting revenue from deals that are happening in the other part of the world through the brokerage. So we have a partner in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. We have a partner in Alberta, and just growing in different markets. And again, it's when you have, I think. Again, it's just, we've been developing the systems and there's a lot of, things that we can support and help other teams in different markets. And so that's really the goal, is just kind of having the, growing on that global level and it's really exciting. So that's really what excites me, is kind of that ability to really collaborate with other teams and level up, because everybody brings their own value and their own kind of, I feel like everybody's got their specialty and their superpower, right? Yeah. And it's like, and you could just stay in that superpower and kill it. But if you got a couple people with different superpowers, it's like you can start doing some cool things. So that's exactly. The thing that really excites me.
Yeah, and that's, I'm really passionate about that, right? I mean, we were talking off camera a little bit about the same thing, because I think for so long people felt like, I had to compete, we couldn't work with anybody else. But like we said, like you said, pardon me, it's collaboration over competition.
100%, yeah.
Right? Because that's what actually makes the difference.
100%, yeah.
Right? You guys are doing some fabulous things. Seeing that, watching that, I'm saying, geez, like that's number one, it's amazing, and congratulations. And I would have never thought even to go that way, nor is that really part of my business model. But just being able to shed light on opportunity, if someone is looking at, growing or looking at doing something like you guys are doing over there, people should know about it.
100%, yeah.
Right? Because you guys have the systems, you have the technology, you're doing what you do, and that's great. And if they feel like Rob's the right guy for them to work with, then that's great too.
That's it, yeah.
Right? Because I say it all the time, your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
That's it, yeah. That's all it's about, right?
Yeah.
And you just, you want to work with the people that, that are kind of that same vibe, and you guys can do some work together. So that's really what excites me. But you know what, man, you you're always doing these podcasts over here, and you're like pretty modest, but man, this office setup you got here and everything you got going on, man, it's amazing, man. I'm super impressed. And when I walked in, it's amazing, man. Uptown Financial doing some really big things, man. Really impressive.
Thank you. You know, we're just trying to do things, as I said, do things a little bit differently.
I love it, man. Yeah.
And this has given us an opportunity. So, outside of business, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, personal hobbies, things that you might do?
Like I mentioned, like it's, you know, it's God first, and I got my family, but honestly, I look at business as a hobby, man. I you know, that's what it is, man. It's
all business, it's all the time.
I just love it so much, you know. It's you know, I've had different hobbies, but it's just there's only so much time in a day that, you know, it's like I like playing basketball. I like playing basketball. I like basketball. Like I used to watch basketball, but honestly, it's like it becomes a part-time job when when any sport, right?
Yeah,
so
you had to give it up.
So if there was a sport, it would be basketball. But it's like I think, you know, they were saying the ratings are down and people are just tapping into the finals. So that's what it is, right? So
yeah, it is what it is.
Everyone's busy, right?
Yeah,
so
right? Like hello.
so that's what it is. But you know, I started playing a little bit of golf not too long ago for the first couple times. So that was cool, but like haven't really pursued it too deep. Yeah, man, I'm just really passionate about what we're doing. So if I do have some free time, it's you know, I'll just zone in. We got so much work, right? We got so much work.
So your free time is work and your work time is work.
You know what? It's honestly, it's like I feel like if you really want to be in that state where you're enjoying life and you're doing some big things, it's like work should be something that gets you excited.
So here's my challenge to you, though, right? And I'm not saying that I subscribe to this train of thought.
Yeah.
It's just a question. But people often say work-life balance is a real thing, right? For someone that does what you do, right? You're wearing multiple hats. You know, you're building your business. You're training people, motivating people. Do you have that work-life balance, or do you believe that there is or should be?
I think, yeah, like I think there's different perspectives on that. Like, I mean, for me, it's like I said, if there's any moment that I have, it's just family or work. So it's not that it's you know, I'll try to spend as much time with the kids as I can, right? And I think, yeah, there definitely needs to be a work-life balance. It's just I don't have you know, if it's a hobby or kids, I'm just gonna pick my kids and I'll go, you know, play some ball with them or do something with them. But yeah, it's just I guess at this stage of my life with 3 kids and the business, it's like there's nothing really there to fit in, unfortunately. So that's what it is. But no, I you know, there's nothing better than spending time with the kids, and I try to spend as much time as I can. And we got, you know, the weekends and things like that, and you know, I have my office really close to their school, so you know, I'm always there, you know, with taking them in the morning and stuff like that. So it's dope, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, and I was saying, like, you know, the kids, they grow quick, right? So like you blink and they're like 16, or you blink and they're, you know, 12 or whatever. And you don't get those days back.
You don't get
right?
them back, yeah.
And it changes, you know. As a dad, you know, obviously we grow, we mature, and we see these things. So I always like to throw that at people,
no,
right? Especially when, you know, kids they're still young, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. They're still young, and I feel like I've you know, I would say I've been cognizant of that to a certain degree, and I've tried to really make sure that there's some quality time there, you know, as much as, you know, it you know, it may sacrifice the business. That's okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say it's, but you're right. It's you know, my big man's already almost 8. So it's like, wow. It's just like that. Oof. You got some kids too, right?
Yeah. Like, you know, I say, and it's funny, and it's often, it brings me back, but you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, we're always running, we're always hustling, we're always, you know, doing what we do, right? And you know, I remember, this is probably, like 2017, 2016, 17, where things were they were crazy in real estate, right? Yeah. And you know, we were just doing deals, and it was, you know, things started in, I think, like February, where it just got really busy, and I just started plowing through, right? We were just doing a whole bunch of business, mortgage side. We're doing some real estate side. And I just remembered it was end of August. And for some strange reason, this stands out with me because I remembered it being February, and I remembered, like, obviously I'm doing work and whatever, doing my bit. We're killing it. We're doing what we do. And then it was like end of August, and I walked into Julian's one of my boys. I walked into Julian's room, and I opened the door, and this day will forever stay with me. And I opened the door, and underneath the blankets was not the small human being that I used to call my boy. He was, this mini man. And I'm like, what happened? Right?
Damn, yeah.
It's like in that span, I lost so much.
Wow.
And, yeah, of course, you got to do what you got to do on the business side. You got to grow. You got to hustle, because who are we doing it for?
That's it.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't get up every morning and be like, I'm going to go, make some money and I'm just going to go spend it. No, you're doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
Right? And so, often I think as business people, as entrepreneurs, we forget, right, that we're doing it for a bigger purpose. Uh-huh. But that bigger purpose is, it's right under the roof,
man.
right?
So 6 to 7 months just flew by. And that's crazy. Yeah, that's wild, man. When I see the pictures, like when I'll see the pictures, and it's like, wow, you know what I mean? I try to spend as much time as I can with them, but it's crazy, yeah, man. It just flies by. So you gotta make sure you enjoy every moment, and
you do.
and that's it, man. We're working for them, right? So it's you got to make sure that you take the time to really appreciate it.
Definitely. All right, let me move it on. Sorry, I don't even know how we got there. It's just I was just thinking about the
funny.
kids.
Your guy's Julian, mine is Julius.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Can you tell me a little bit about your short-term and long-term goals for the real estate? I always say is it really real estate and media, or really is it just real estate? Like what?
It was a seminar I was at maybe a couple of years ago, and I forget who it was, but it was one of the top guys. And they said a real estate company is no longer a real estate company; they're a marketing company.
Exactly.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's depending how you want to position it, but. Yeah, it's a integrated real estate media marketing kind of flex, but I mean, I think in being in the industry, you just have to adapt to that kind of thinking if you really want to, that plus like technology, really.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
Yeah,
right. And I mean, for us, we kind of took the similar approach, right? And I remember like when we first kind of bumped into each other. I saw what you were doing, right? And I'm like, okay, I see where he's going with it. I'm going in a different direction because I'm going on the finance side, you're going on the real estate side. So it was very interesting to see, right? And, as I kind of continued to build out what we do here at Uptown, I was just like, I always say marketing comes first and then the sales, right? You gotta market in order to get sales. But a good salesperson is really just a really great marketer, because maybe they have more opportunities to get in front of people in order to close the deal. Or on the other side, they could just be really good at closing the number of people that they have. But I mean, there's something to be said about getting in front of more people, being the market, and be able to be exposed to more people in order to then be able to convert. Yeah. Right. And so, I looked at it that way from a finance perspective, and I said, okay, you know what? It made sense to just be not Clyde. It made sense to just be Uptown, right? And try to find a way for not just me to benefit, but for all of our agents, brokers, whoever decides to work with us to benefit by, like you said, an integration and marketing under a brand to help you build and become whoever you want to be. Right?
I love that.
So, that's why I said, I see what you guys are doing. I'm like, these guys are, yes.
Right? Honestly, I've gone back and forth on that, obviously coming from the marketing and technology side. That was kind of like when I got into real estate, I was like, we're going to disrupt, we're going to build out some cool tech. We're going to generate, millions of leads and all that. But I've kind of gone back and forth on that marketing and sales equation. And one of the things, I don't know if I saw somebody say it, and it kind of makes it, and I think it applies differently to different businesses, right? Because you can have, if you're in an e-com business, it's all marketing, right? But in our business of real estate, one thing is if you got great marketing but no sales, can you exist?
No.
But if you got great sales and no marketing, can you exist?
Of course.
So that's kind of like the thinking that I've kind of like looked at. And so for me, it's been.
But where do they come from? Where do the, pardon me, sorry to cut you up. Where do the clients come from? Where do the customers come from? Because they have to come from somewhere. Yeah. Right? So if you're not marketing your brands, marketing your product, then how do you have that awareness?
I think what it is just, it has to be that 50-50 where, it just can't be just the marketing, right? So it's just, it's I think they just really have to be, strong 50-50. So like obviously kind of having that marketing background and the technology background, it's like, now I've kind of pivoted to really focus on making sure that we have the training and development and processes on the sales side to like marry that. Because I think that is, just as important, if not more important, because that's really who's going to take it home. Yeah. 100%. There's, I feel like the variables on that side, the salesperson has so much impact, whereas the variables on the other side, right, you can optimize that and you can perfect it, and it's just you. I think in our business, you got to put a little bit more emphasis on that sales side, just to make sure that all those those variables are optimized and everything is flowing properly.
It's funny because the sales guys are looking at the marketers saying, "Man, I got to get out there more," right? And the marketers are looking at the sales guys saying, "Man, I gotta start making more money," right? And it's funny because it's true, and there's a lot of people that I'm sure that are out there doing fantastic units, right? Doing fantastic transactions, but they're just head down out there, and they're saying, "Hey, I made 50 grand, I made 100 grand, I made 200 grand this year, whatever it was, but I did it in my small circle." How imagine I went out and talked to Rob or talked to Clyde, and imagine where I could be. Yeah. Right. But then, there's some people, like you said, that are just fantastic marketers. But are you converting, right? But that's where the coaching comes in, right? That's where, the motivation comes in. That's where making sure you're partnered with the right people, right? And tapped into the right networks. That's what really makes the difference.
One of the big things we're doing on the team now, my good friend, Morgan Emery, he's a young Tony Robbins. He's a mindset sales coach. So we're partnering with him, and he's coming in and just making sure that, everybody's got the mind on the right level and just got the right sales training. So we're taking everything kind of we've developed on the sales and coaching side, and we're working with him to really just elevate, make sure we're all performing at the highest level. I feel like there's so much things aside from business and marketing and sales that a person has to really consider to really be a top performer. So making sure your health is in the right place, making sure, you're in the right place mentally and physically, and making sure you got the right relationships and things like that. So
there's a lot of aspects.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I think people, they don't think of, right? They don't, consider that, okay, I want to, kill it this year. I want to make $1 million. Everyone wants to make $1 million, right? And, I want to be that top performer, that top salesperson. But to get there, I mean, that's a journey, right? You don't just flip the switch, right? You got to refine your skill sets. You got to figure out, okay, what are the things that I need? And like you said, am I healthy enough, right? Can I sustain what it takes to perform at that level? Just like I'm a sports guy, I'm a soccer guy, that's right? The best soccer players in the world, they're fit, right? I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan, sorry, right? I don't know, right? But hey, the guy, you see that guy, I don't even know how old he is now. And I don't know if there's a fitter soccer player. Yeah, I know he's a beast. But that's why he performs at that level. Yeah. And so I look at, business, obviously, I as a soccer player, I relate a lot of things back to soccer and being able to perform at the highest level. And, part of that is being healthy, and healthy in, you know, mind and body, spirit, right? Because if you're not right, you can't perform.
Okay. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Kind of like for me, when I was saying in terms of coaching and surrounding yourself with the right people, it's like, you know, just from experience, it's like you can put everything on just friggin' late nights, kill yourself, and it's like you're just gonna be capped at the end of the day unless you understand those principles and you know, making sure that everything is aligned.
Truer words.
That's it. Yeah.
Never been spoken.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even. Again, I really hope that, you know, whoever's out there, whoever's listening to that, you know, I really hope it makes a difference, right? Because I know even with myself, you know, as I continue to build, as I continue to grow, you know, there's been personal struggles as well, right? You know, you're sitting there and you say, okay, man, I wanted to do more. I really wanted to do this, but you know, you gotta be right? You know, you gotta be right. You gotta be committed.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta be right. You gotta be committed 100%, man.
Yeah. Let's move it on. Since we're talking real estate, you're in real estate. That's the business. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you some real estate questions.
Let's go. Yeah.
So we're talking buyers and sellers.
Okay.
Right. So in, you know, today's market, today's economic times, you know, what are you telling buyers and sellers? Is now a good time?
Yeah. Good question. We talk about this at our team meetings every week, and you know what it comes down to. There's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of noise, and you know, and I think the worst place we can go to for anything is the news these days, right? So that's where a lot of
There's
people.
There's no such thing as good news.
Yeah, exactly. So it's you know, it's always going to be negative. It's always going to be emphasized. It's always going to try to grab your interest and grab your attention. So a lot of people are going to the news, and then it's one thing I was like, even for people in the industry, it's like it's a dangerous place to go because you know it is what it is. So I think what it is like in today's market, everything is so like personalized, right? It's you know, I think saying, hey, how's the market? Oh, there's no such thing. Like it's like there is no market. Like, you know what I mean? It's because you know, the Square One condo market versus the Brampton freehold market versus the Toronto freehold market versus the Burlington freehold versus the Hamilton condo versus like it's all different. Everything is different, right?
Exactly.
So the markets are granular and different once you look at them. So you got to look at it like that. So everything's personalized, right? And then it's, you know, what's your situation, right? so just it all comes down to the person and what situation they're in and what their financials are looking like and what their goals are. So everything is so personalized in terms of doing it, but in terms of how we apply the market generally to that, I would say, you know, one thing we were talking about is like, has there been a better time to buy in the last 5 years than now?
I don't see it.
You know, like we're back at 2020 prices on a lot of stuff that we're looking at.
Agreed.
So if you're in a position as, you know, an individual where you have a mortgage approval, you have a down payment, you're in a position to buy, it's a great time to buy.
I agree with you.
You know, and there's a great amount of opportunities. You can negotiate a great deal. So if I was, you know, if you're in that position, then it's like, yeah, it's go time. Like, be strategic, don't rush it. Find the right opportunity. You're going to get a great deal.
Of course.
On the sales side, again, that would depend on like what's your situation. Like, you know, are you in a position where you have to sell? Like, we know that, you know, there's a lot of different factors and mortgages are renewing this year and all that. So, I mean, I'm a big proponent of holding, right? You know, so if you're in a position to hold, then that's always a good way to go. But if there's an opportunity where you can sell and make a move that makes a lot more sense and all that, and you go through that process and everything really makes sense and is exciting, then you know, there may be an argument for that. So it's all personalized in terms of how the market within your goals and within your financials, you know, makes sense. So,
which is the way it should be. And I mean, I love the way that you answered that, by the way, because, you know, it speaks to who you are. Because a lot of business owners, you know, leaders, managers, so whatever you want to call it, you know, they would have taken a different approach. But again, the personal approach that you take when, you know, just going about your everyday, it shows all the time. And just as I said, you know, with the things you're putting out there and the interactions that you have, it shows that personality shows, that care shows. And
appreciate that.
It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see. It really is. And I'm interested to learn more. That's a big piece as well. I'm interested to learn more about what you guys are doing over there, and seeing what type of synergies we can find, because 100%. I think there's going to be a ton, 100%, right? When it comes to business, we're talking real estate, we're talking mortgages. I mean, obviously we're in the private space, we're in the private lending space predominantly. That's what we do. We do mortgages, right? Yeah. And the private lending space now has become increasingly popular, just because interest rates have been relatively high. Taxes are very high on personal income. What does it take to qualify for a mortgage? And now all of a sudden people are considering private options to bridge gaps, whether it's bridge financing, or whether it's I need to consolidate, pay down some credit card debt or whatever it is. There's so many different opportunities where we're now working even more closely with realtors and brokerages to say, hey, we're here to provide options, personalized options for your clients. And by us being able to help offer those solutions, it only further benefits you, your network, your people, and lets them know that you have the network that's there to help support them.
I love that,
And that's where, when I keep talking to, my team about, wrapping your arms around the client, that's such a powerful way to be able to do that, and be able to say, we can take care of you here. We can make sure you get this house. We can set this thing up, if you're looking to increase your portfolio, whatever it is that you're looking to do. But over and above that, if you need the help, if you need a solution, we can also refer it out. We could also help you. And, I wouldn't even know where to go if I had someone that says, hey, Clyde, I want to buy a house in Poland. Like, no, I don't know how to do that. But I know that I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call you. I'm going to be real.
We got
right?
the team.
Right. If I need someone that needs a place up in Alberta, no, I don't do that. But I know who I'm going to call. Right. And that's the power of network.
100%.
Right. And that's the way it should be, man. That's where the collaboration.
What does the private kind of environment look like for you right now? Because I know there's different kind of facets of it in terms of what kind of options are available there on your end? Yeah,
I mean, now we offer traditional financing options, so traditional first positions for people who are looking to buy or refinance their homes.
When you say traditional, you're talking about private?
Traditional private, yeah. Okay. When I say traditional private, I know those two should not go together. But what I mean is a regular first position mortgage that would be interest only payments.
Okay.
So if someone's they don't qualify for. Or let me take it back. Someone buys a house and they would need to put generally 20% down, and to qualify for that, you're going to need to make X number of dollars, right? Let's assume they don't have the necessary income on paper to qualify. Then they would have alternative options. The first alternative option would be, of course, look to go more to we call them B lenders, alternative lenders. That would be more stated income. But if it doesn't work in the stated income space, that's when we would then leverage Uptown Financial in terms of the private lending, where we would look at the deal on face value. Does the deal make sense, right? And if the deal makes sense, the guy's, has expertise, good income, he's been doing this for a long time, the bank statements show that he makes regular money, and he can afford the interest-only payment on, this $800,000, then we're going to do the deal. It's really, it's all based on, does it make sense? It's a good property. If we had to take it, can we resell it? It makes sense lending.
Yeah.
It's not about necessary qualification.
Yeah.
We do have qualifying factors. Of course, we do look at credit, but again, we do offer private mortgages to people with, bruised or bad credit.
Yeah.
That's where the rate comes in, because just like yourself, when you were saying, when we lend, it's very personalized.
Yeah.
And we have our advertised rates, $6.99 for our low interest rate, basic 65% loan to value mortgage. But that offer might not be the offer that, you know, one of your clients need. They might need 75% loan to value.
Yeah.
So we'll give them a 75% loan to value mortgage at, you know, whatever the rate is that they can qualify for based on their credit, based on their income. And, you know, it's just about providing true mortgage solutions to whoever it is that we have the opportunity to speak to.
I love that.
Right.
So you're almost like, I feel like you're taking private lending and just really making it user friendly.
Yes.
And really, you know, because traditionally private lending's been like, you know, been cutthroat, right? So you're really kind of making it user friendly and hopefully being reasonable with the rates and trying to really not only give a good service but a good solution, right? That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, it gives us the opportunity to.
I think the marketplace needs it, you know.
Exactly.
The marketplace needs it, and it's true. It's like, you know, if the deal makes sense, then, you know, it makes sense for you. And if you can, and it's like, there's a huge opportunity there, right? Because I don't know what the I forget what the stats were, but I know that a lot of the financing has been going private, and just a huge opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like more people are going that way. Obviously, when we look at, you know, on personal taxation and how much, you know, you would need to earn in order just to qualify for a home here in Canada right now, that number is very high. If you want to buy a home, you know, anywhere in Toronto, you know, you want to buy $1 million property, how much you got to make? How much in order to afford that $1 million property? You know, do you have, you know, 5%, 10%, 20% that you're looking to put down? Can you afford those payments?
I think, and again, I don't know if this was true, but it was a video. Basically, the average detached home in Toronto, say it's 1.5 or whatever it is, supposedly it's like a 900,000 annual income.
It's crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
That's the average. Yeah.
How is that the average?
That's what I'm saying.
When did this happen? I don't know. I really don't know. It's crazy.
So it's a big opportunity, man, for sure, to go the private route. And you're right. Like, I never really thought about it like that. I mean, it's unfortunate that, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose of it in terms of just paying the interest, because the whole idea of home ownership is you're paying down your principal and all that. So that removing that part of the equation is unfortunate. But yeah, if you own the home and you can, you know, live with that payment and it makes sense, because that completely changes, you know, the affordability.
Correct.
You know, you become an owner, and yeah, if it's something that's, you know, short term and that you can level up at a certain point and go to an A, it gets you in the market, it gets you into home ownership. We were looking at some stats yesterday, and it was really interesting, and I don't know if I'll remember them, but I think it was in 2011, it was 71% homeowners in Ontario, and then in 2021, it was down to 68% home ownership in Ontario. So the renters were like 32 or whatever. And then we looked at how many people owned more than 2 properties. And I think that was 17% of Ontario's population. And then how many people own more than 4 properties, and that was 0.5%.
Wow.
Of people that actually own 4 more properties. So, you know, investors.
Wow.
So if you own more than 4, you're part of the 0.5% as an investor. But I feel like, you know, they went down from 2011 to 2021. I think based on the way things are going, it's just going to keep going down, and home ownership is going to be just less of a reality for a lot of people, and tenants, you know, renting is going to become a lot more of the norm. So that private solution is it could help, you know, at least, you know,
bridge a gap, right? We
bridge a
don't
gap,
want them to be
people,
there for a long time.
Get people in the game, yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, it gets you in the door. You can benefit from some of the appreciation if you get a good deal, but you need an exit plan, right? You need an opportunity to exit, get into, you know, a regular mortgage where you can start paying down and creating equity, because that's really what it's about.
You know what would be cool? And I don't know if you're doing it now, but almost like when they get that private, like they get the plan. You know what I mean? It's like, this is your plan to an A.
Exactly.
And it's like,
that's exactly what we do.
And it's like you like literally putting it down, like save this and pay this and do this, and it's like and then like give them some accountability to do it, and then it's like, you know, and then it's like, you know, then it's like a real solution, right? You're not only just giving them a private, you're giving them a whole plan. So that's
an opportunity to move forward.
That's
yeah,
it.
That's why, you know, like I hate to shameless plug, but that's the
the
tagline, right?
Uptown.
That's the Uptown tagline, getting you from where you are to where you want to be, right?
That's it.
So yeah, you got it. So that's how we do it. So
I love it, man.
This has been great. I mean,
awesome.
we went all over. I know I didn't really. I put them to the side because I love doing this.
That's
right?
it, man. That's what it's all about.
But before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you wanna bring to the table?
No, man. I mean, it was a great conversation. Again, I really appreciate the invite. I really appreciate you having me. Uptown Financial, man. That's where it's at. It's popping, and you know, you guys are really bringing everything into one umbrella, and I love that. I love that because you can really control the experience. So that's what it's all about, man. It's all about the customer experience. So
thank you.
I really appreciate you guys having that approach and what you're doing. So appreciate you having me, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Yeah, you too, man.
With that, that's it.
That's
it's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Uptown Experts, we're out.